NBA Draft Lottery is this Tuesday in New York. Jazz fans, anxiety, nerves. Jazz General Manager Dennis Lindsey, what's it like for you as you get ready to sit in that spot, wait for those ping pong balls to drop? Do you have any sleepless nights?
So I'm like everybody else. I'm hoping for good luck. I'm in Houston, the draft that we got Yao Ming, I walked around all day and found a penny. I'll have pictures of my family for me to remember what's important, and they're the ultimate good luck charm. But so we'll have contingencies that if we were to move up and have good fortune, we've worked really hard and we prepared. And the odds say that we'll stay at 12, and frankly, we're very happy with the player that could be taken at 12.
Now, do you sit up at night and just imagine, oh, if we get that 0.7% chance, that #1 pick, and who it would be? Do you do that?
Oh, absolutely. I'm a fan like everybody else. And look, the #1 pick it's an attractive asset, and you're looking at it just like that. And so when you imagine that you get it, you imagine who that player is, and we've run those iterations. You also imagine making trades where you ask for another organization's firstborn, if you will, and try to maximize the assets.
How do you go about it? Are you going for if it's the 12th pick or even the 5th or 6th, are you going for the best player available, best athlete, or are you going to find a specific position player?
Yeah, so I'll be duplicit in my answer here. So typically it is best player, but what we do is we tier players, and we'll have a group of players in our first tier based upon our evaluations, statistical modeling, medical information, the interviews, and then we'll have a tier 2, and then we'll have a tier 3, and so on and so forth, all the way to the end of the draft. And so let's just say we're sitting at the 12th pick, and we have 3 players that are a guard and a wing and a big in tier 2. That's where positional need may swing a decision. We're in a unique position where we not only have a good young player at each position, but in most positions we have 2. So I think we can go into this draft with the menu and the options fully at our disposal.
Talk about the point guard, Dante Exum, 19 years old, first year. Numbers don't jump out and grab you for a starting point guard, but are you satisfied with just some of the baby steps that he took?
I think we achieved a lot, Rod. Look, if you're 18/19 years old and you make it through an NBA season without an injury, played in all 82 games. The other thing that's hidden, and we're starting to be able to track it a little more with advanced stats, is Dante's already shown unique defensive abilities. Frankly, he's 2 or 3 levels ahead of where we thought he'd be defensively. I think we were +5 per 100 possessions when he was on the court last year. As soon as his strength and his physicality match his size, I think that's when magic will happen. And the thing that I would say to everyone relative to Dante and the offensive part, he really deferred to Gordon, to Derek, some of our more mature players. He didn't try to force himself on the game, and I think that's why, even though his per-game stats were humble, the team functioned very well when he was in the game.
Yeah. Gordon Hayward, after a lot of players sign the big deal, they fall off the following year. Not so with Gordon. Man, you have to be not pleasantly surprised, but happy that he just moved forward and upward.
There's a lot of things with Gordon. I think he's one of 3 players. I think the other 2 are Kobe Bryant and Gary Payton. Those 2 players, along with Gordon, are the only 3 players in NBA history that improved their per-game points average 5 straight seasons. Not that points are the end-all, be-all, Rod, but the thing that we were very confident, and Gordon said this in exit interviews, and he sat across from me, and he was resolute. We believed him. He said, look, I can handle the primary player role. I can do this. He said, and he owned the year before last, his efficiency and his effectiveness wasn't as high as what we wanted, but we knew that he'd go back to Indianapolis and work. We knew he'd get into Salt Lake early. We knew he's of the highest character. And there's certain fits, right, with Salt Lake and Utah, and especially the Jazz, and Gordon is one that we'd like to see be like John and Carl, where when they retire, and I know Carl didn't, but it feels like he did, right?
Yeah.
When they retire, it's going to be a career Jazz man. That's our hope.
Rudy Gobert, of course, just changed this dynamics defensively for the Jazz second half of the season. So now, how does Rudy improve so he just doesn't be stagnant and improve next year, both defensively and even offensively?
Sometimes progression with a player is a little bit like your child. You know they're growing, but it's hard to see it on a day-to-day basis. You have to go away for a couple months and come back and say, oh, they've grown 2 inches. And so it was a little bit like Rudy, the day-to-day obscured how rapidly he was improving. So I think there's some fundamental things. He needs to continue to be stronger. We saw teams become more physical with Rudy the last third of the season and push and shove. And so for him to handle the physicality, to remain effective, he's going to have to get stronger. For him to be a safer athlete, frankly, he needs to get stronger. But Rudy's committed to that. Rudy quickly needs to move to spots so our offense can function. We want to still be able to capitalize on those improvements. Improvement in his jump hook, his duck in to get deeper position. All those things are attainable goals.
And the improvement that Derek Favors made from last year to this past season in his offensive game and his moves and what he tried to do, we can only look forward to him doing that a step further for this next season.
Yeah, so Quinn and the coaches get a lot of credit. They were able to put guys in the right positions, and a lot of Gordon and Derek's improvement, frankly, was obscured, Rod, because of Rudy's rapid improvement. And it just, there were a lot of things going on with our team that got swept under the Rudy current. And certainly Derek's improvement was really significant. And in many ways, he was our most effective player in a lot of positions. So his ability to make that 17-footer, we still need to improve his free throw shooting. I still want him to be a defensive anchor. He's going to have to do it out of the power forward spot instead of the center spot now that Rudy's in the fold and established. But we have high hopes, and we're really proud of Derek and his improvement.
Jazz fans have asked me, Dennis Lindsey always talks about assets and garnering and gathering assets and money. So they asked me, so if he gets a 12th pick, is he going to take one of those assets and the pick and try to move up into the top 5? So I'm going to ask you that.
So there's always, I've never been part of a draft, Rod, where you haven't looked and had conversations about trying to move up in the draft, except for the year that we got number 1. And Yao Ming, there was nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And even then you listen to people that wanted to move to the first slot. So by definition, if we're doing our job, we're having those conversations. It's very difficult. Kevin O'Connor's been really good historically, and as you know, Kevin's still in the fold, and I lean on him a great deal, but he's been very good in some subtle ways and able to move up in the draft. So I've actually learned a lot from Kevin and his experience and expertise.
All right, well, good luck with the family pictures, and hopefully in Central Park you find something shiny and bright that you can put in your pocket and maybe shock the basketball world with the ping pong balls.
Say a couple prayers for us.
Dennis Lindsey, have a safe trip to New York, and I'm sure we'll be talking afterwards.
My pleasure.